Ever live with people who made you feel like a ghost in your own home? The kind who smile to your face, but make your life miserable behind closed doors? Yeah, I did. For nearly 2 years. Until one day I decided enough. They thought they could bully me forever. But they had no idea who they were messing with. If you ever had to deal with toxic roommates, fake friends, or anyone who made you question your own sanity, hit that like button and subscribe. Because this one's for everyone who's ever been underestimated. I used to live in a shared flat near Middlesex University in London. It wasn't glamorous. 7, sometimes 8 of us under one roof. But it was affordable. And that mattered more than comfort back then. I had my own room, but the bathroom was shared between 4 of us, myself, and 3 others. Let's call them Sebastian, Paula, and V. From day one, I could tell I wasn't welcome. They already had their little clique. Inside jokes, shared dinners, matching mugs in the kitchen. And me? I was the outsider. The one who didn't fit in. At first, it was small things. Sticky notes on doors saying, "Close softly. No guests allowed." And my personal favorite, "Do not talk in my room." Who even writes that? But it got worse. Much worse. Anytime I walked into the kitchen, conversation would stop. They'd glance at each other, whisper something under their breath, then laugh. Sometimes they'd mock my accent, my food, my background. It was like living inside a slow, constant storm, where every raindrop was a reminder that I didn't belong. So I kept quiet. When I needed to take a call, I stepped outside, even in freezing London rain, just so no one could complain. But while I tiptoed around like a guest in my own house, they didn't care. Sebastian would bring family over twice a week. V had friends over constantly. And Paula? She blasted her music at 2 a.m. like she was auditioning for Glastonbury. When I tried to speak up, they rolled their eyes. "Relax, it's just a flat," Sebastian said. But it wasn't just a flat. It was my home, too. Then came the bathroom games. They somehow managed to accidentally occupy it every single morning before my lectures. If I knocked, they'd shout, "5 minutes," and take 30. Once, I tried to get in early, around 6 a.m., only to find they'd locked it from the inside, gone back to bed, and left me waiting. For an hour. That was the moment I realized this wasn't forgetfulness. It was control. They wanted to make me feel small, powerless, invisible. They even installed a cheap shower timer, one that shut off the water after 10 minutes. And guess what? They only turned it on when I showered. My patience cracked piece by piece. Every morning became a battle. Every dinner, a silent war zone. And the kitchen, oh, the kitchen. They began using my shelves for their groceries, pushing my food to the back until it spoiled. Once, I found my container of cooked rice dumped straight into the trash. No apology, no explanation. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. My chest was tight, heart pounding. I remember whispering to myself, why do they hate me so much? And then, why am I letting them? It wasn't one big moment that made me snap. It was 1,000 small ones. The ignored hellos, the stolen shelf space, the quiet racism wrapped in jokes. One morning, after yet another freezing shower and another round of laughter from outside the bathroom door, something inside me went cold. If kindness was weakness in their eyes, maybe it was time I spoke their language, without saying a single word. So I planned, patiently, quietly. If they wanted to play games, I'd play chess. I started small. Every week, each of us took turns taking out the trash. On their weeks, the bag somehow split open right before collection. I just happened to notice it after they left, watching from the window as they struggled to pick up garbage in the cold. Then the kitchen accidents began. They'd leave their leftover pasta uncovered on the counter. The next day, it'd be mysteriously covered in salt. Their milk? Spoiled, because someone must have forgotten to close the fridge door properly. When they complained, I'd offer sympathy. Oh no, again? That's so unlucky. All while hiding the smallest smirk. Then came the masterpiece, psychological warfare. I printed their own sticky notes, same handwriting, same color, and placed them all around the house. Except now they read, maybe clean up after yourself? Respect is mutual. And my favorite, guess who's watching? I could hear Paula whispering in the kitchen one night. Do you think he's doing this? And Veer replied, he wouldn't dare. Oh, but I would. I started waking up earlier, beating them to the bathroom every day. By the time they woke up, it was spotless, but I left small traces. A towel slightly damp, a mirror half wiped, a hair that wasn't mine. Enough to make them wonder. I wanted them to feel what I'd felt. Uneasy in their own home. Unsure. Uncomfortable. It worked. They started locking their doors, double-checking shelves, whispering every time I entered a room. One night, Sebastian knocked on my door. Hey, have you noticed anything weird lately? I looked him dead in the eye and said, constantly. Then closed the door. 3 years passed. 3 years of quiet power, of watching them unravel under the same paranoia they'd once fed me. The sticky notes disappeared. The laughter faded. Even the bathroom schedule, gone. They stopped trying to control me because they were too busy watching their own backs. When I finally moved out, Paula didn't even look me in the eye. Sebastian offered a half smile that said everything but goodbye. And V, he avoided me completely. As I stood outside with my last box, I glanced back at the house. Their faces in the window, uncertain, uneasy, and for the first time in years, I felt peace. I'm not proud of how far I went, but I'm not sorry either. They taught me something valuable. When people push you to your breaking point, sometimes silence can be the loudest revenge. You don't always need to scream to be heard. Sometimes you just have to make them listen in their own language. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell me in the comments what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen or done. And hey, don't forget to subscribe for more real stories that prove karma always finds its way.